We begin by seeing a little girl named Lizzie who plays some music. She has breakfast and packs her bags to return to her father's house. Shortly after, she tidies the messy house. Lizzie is an only child, but very efficient with household chores. When she finishes, she goes to wake her mother called Kathy, who shows herself to be a bit lazy and deceived by an irresponsible man, since she no longer lives with Lizzie's father. While the girl waits for her mother to get ready, hours pass, and afternoon arrives, which makes Lizzie upset. Kathy apologizes for having slept too long, but then leaves by car with her daughter. Mother and daughter are not very connected and spend part of the trip without speaking to each other. When they arrive at a gas station, Kathy, after smoking, gifts her daughter a watch that had belonged to her mother, a keepsake that will now stay with Lizzie. Kathy says she is giving it to her because she imagines she will not return, since she is not a very responsible mother. They then continue the trip, and a memory from years before is shown where one day Kathy went to her ex-husband's house to take her daughter to an important play. However, Lizzie did not want her mother to go because she was not a good example. They fought, and an irritated Kathy left. Back with the two in the present, Lizzie tells her mother she wants to continue the trip, even though it is late at night, because her father and stepmother are waiting for her to spend the night with them. With no choice, Kathy continues the journey, and even though it is raining, she does not stop, because she wants to please her daughter. The two talk a little to try to lighten the tense mood, when suddenly the car hits something and loses control on the road, making Kathy hit her head and injure her wrist. The vehicle stops on a road surrounded by a forest. They worry about calling emergency services, and Lizzie tells them where they probably are. Meanwhile, we see that the car tire is ruined. With the car unfit to continue, both remain in the vehicle, and Kathy has put a band-aid on her head wound. After the rain ends, they see the animal they ran over and decide to go out to look at it. And with the driver's side jammed, Kathy exits with her daughter. Lizzie looks at the animal lying in the road and is afraid to approach it. Kathy, on the other hand, inspected the tire, and seeing it was unusable, asks her daughter to call her father to come pick her up. Her father questions her about the cause of the accident, suspecting that Kathy had been drinking, since that was her usual history. Fortunately, she had not made that mistake, even though her memories condemned her for the person she had become over the years, and that was the reason her ex-husband and daughter had distanced themselves from her. She remembers how unsettled her life is, and that her drinking addiction caused deplorable feelings. But even so, her daughter, witnessing her mother's decline, did not abandon her and tried to help her. Back to the two, they observe the animal on the road. They approach and realize it is a wolf that died from the impact. They return to the car, and Kathy talks to her daughter, and showing a large tooth says the animal had severe wounds before being run over, probably fighting in the forest and driven off by some larger animal. While both are in the vehicle, a growl can be heard coming from the forest. A moment later, while it rains again, the tow truck approaches them, and before the driver gets out, Lizzie notices that the dead animal has disappeared, leaving them both a little frightened. The tow truck driver, named Jesse, says the ambulance will take a while and that he will tow them. While he helps them, he says no one uses that road anymore. Kathy says they hit a wolf, but it disappeared, apparently got up and went into the forest. Jesse takes their things to his truck while they decide to stay in their car to be towed. While Jesse prepares the tow, Lizzie inside the vehicle notices the canine tooth of the potential predator that attacked the wolf. She asks Kathy about the tooth being enormous compared to a real wolf's size. Jesse continues the tow preparations when Kathy asks about the cell phone, and Lizzie says it is in the bags Jesse took to his truck. Kathy asks the girl to ask the man for the device, and when the little girl goes to Jesse, he tells her to go to his truck to get the phone. Even scared, Lizzie goes to Jesse's vehicle, but the vehicle is locked. She tells Jesse, and the man says he will open it soon. Lizzie notices blood stains on the road and becomes uneasy about the fact the animal was dragged into the forest. Approaching the forest edge, she sees the dead animal hidden among the bushes. Lizzie calls her mother to see, but she inside the car does not hear her. This situation recalls one early morning when, while her mother slept, Lizzie lay close and whispered how much she hated her because she was not the kind of mother she should be. Back to Lizzie. Suddenly, a frightening creature appears behind her, but disappears in the blink of an eye. She then returns to her mother's car and says she saw the dead wolf. While Jesse repairs the vehicle in the rain, he hears frightening growls nearby and illuminates with his flashlight to see what it is. Kathy tells her daughter to forget the animal and says they will be leaving soon. But Lizzie asks what could have done such an atrocity to such a fierce animal. Seeing Lizzie afraid, Kathy promises that the animal that killed the wolf will not come after them. She then calls Jesse, but he does not answer, and we soon see the man is no longer there. Kathy decides to go search for the man, even though her daughter is against the idea. Kathy looks around the car and does not see Jesse, which scares her. Kathy continues to look around and calls Jesse, thinking he is hiding in the darkness of the forest. Amid the rain, it is not clear to Kathy the sounds and growls echoing in the forest. Suddenly, part of Jesse's arm is thrown onto the hood of Kathy's vehicle, and frightened, she returns to the car and stays with her daughter, both terrified by what happened. Lizzie is very scared, so Kathy tries to comfort and calm her. Minutes later, we see Jesse crawling toward the road, trying to reach his truck. Lizzie and her mother see the man approaching, but do not know what to do. Jesse struggles to get into his car, but he's having trouble. Lizzie tells her mother that she sees the monster in front of her, a humanoid creature with huge, sharp teeth. Jesse opens the door but can't get in, as he's too injured and missing one of his arms. The creature disappears from their sight, but Jesse falls to the ground, is dragged under his vehicle, and is unfortunately taken to his death. After witnessing that horrible and terrifying scene, both remain silent in the car, trying to understand what they saw. Lizzie cries in great fear because she believed monsters did not exist, but what she saw changes her mind. Kathy, seeing Jesse's truck door open, says that if she can get the keys, they can leave that place. Lizzie, fearing the worst, does not want her mother to go out, but having no choice, and not knowing when help will arrive, Kathy goes to Jesse's vehicle. However, before she leaves, the monster attacks the car and pulls Kathy out. It begins to attack her, but fortunately the ambulance approaches and the noise scares the terrifying creature away. Fortunately, the two are taken into the rescue vehicle for first aid. However, Kathy asks them to leave the place immediately because there is a monster that will kill them. Seeing parts of a body there, one of the paramedics goes to look around, and when his partner calls him to leave, he cannot find him. Upon entering the vehicle, the three are suddenly shocked to see the dead body of the other paramedic thrown onto the ambulance windshield. The monster begins another attack on the group, terrifying everyone inside. Kathy asks the nurse to go to the back to stay with them, but the creature violently grabs and kills her, and Kathy can do nothing but watch her rescuers being killed before her. With the opportunity to escape, Kathy speeds up the ambulance and they drive away quickly. They are happy for a moment, but the swift monster emerges from the forest and crashes into the vehicle, causing it to roll off the road. Lizzie has some injuries but manages to get up. However, on seeing her mother, she finds she has lost consciousness. Fortunately, she wakes up soon. Kathy grabs the radio and calls for help, but there is no communication. Suddenly, the creature appears and frightens them even more. However, when Kathy shines light on the beast's face, it does not attack and leaves. Kathy is badly hurt and spits blood, but remembering she must get her daughter out of there, she takes a breath and returns to Lizzie and says she must go back to the road because no one knows they are there. Kathy has a plan and encourages her daughter for what she will have to do next. She says she will attract the monster while Lizzie runs to the road. Lizzie fears her mother will be caught by the creature, but Kathy says she will take a torch with flame to protect herself, claiming monsters dislike light. Lizzie knows her mother is lying. Nevertheless, Kathy asserts she will die soon. So with the time she has left, she will do something to help her daughter leave alive, because she loves her dearly. After saying goodbye, Kathy takes the burning torch and goes deeper into the forest. And when she is far from the vehicle, she shouts to attract the creature. It does not take long and growls are heard nearby, so knowing she has a chance to save her daughter, she extinguishes the flame and shouts loudly for Lizzie to run. Suddenly, the creature lunges from the darkness and attacks Kathy, and unfortunately the bites are cruel and cause her great pain. Fortunately, brave Lizzie arrives and attacks the monster with a hammer, exposing its face to light and scaring it away with screams. After the attack, Lizzie goes to her mother who has mortal wounds on her body and mourns everything. Unfortunately, Kathy dies in her daughter's arms, making her cry a lot. Hearing growls nearby, Lizzie says goodbye to her mother, and with the flashlight returns to the vehicle. She then mourns the loss and grows anxious about being alone. Using her mother's lighter and finding some flammable spray, she has an idea. She grabs her teddy bear, which sings lullabies and makes noise inside the ambulance, then hides. It does not take long for the creature in the forest to approach and enter the vehicle and furiously attack the teddy bear. While this happens, Lizzie leaves her hiding place and goes outside. The creature follows her, but bravely Lizzie waits, saying she is not afraid of the monster. As soon as the beast attacks, Lizzie uses the spray and lighter to set the creature on fire. The creature moans in pain with its body aflame, but soon it falls to the ground apparently dead. Lizzie approaches the monster and its body gives a twitch. Fearing it may get up, Lizzie uses a stick to beat the monster until it stops moving. Dawn is breaking, and Lizzie walks through the forest until she finds a sign of civilization, remembering how she and her mother faced their fears without hesitation. Now, the strongest memory she will carry of her mother, Kathy, is the unconditional love she showed amid hardships and the sacrifice she made to save her.